So hello guys, today's our movie name is Odela 3. So I am explaining the Odela 3. This is not a official movie channel. This is a movie explanation channel. So if you want to see a official movie, then you can see any streaming app. This is our reviewing channel. I am reviewing. Please like, subscribe and share the video because we take a lot 3 hours to make it the whole movie. So please. So the starting of फर्स्ट हम डिस्कशन करेंगे ओडेला 2 का कुछ, उसके बाद ओडेला 3 के अपन चालू करेंगे. ओडेला 2 is supernatural thrill with the routine of approximate 2 and इतना hour minute serving a sequels to 22 hits Odela railway station. This intentionally aims for a much larger scale, blending ruler mystery with driven supplemental elements. Here the comprehension spoiler free review of the movie. The plot. The story of returns to the infamous village of Odela, which is once again crippled by terror. Sripati Vishwanath Shima, who have treasured death, mysteriously returns to life and unveils a wave of caloric murder. When local law enforcement fails to stop the bloods, the village finds hopes in Shiva Shakti Tamannaah Bhatia and interfere finance Naga Sidhu and a devout follower of a Lord Shiva. The core of the film revolves around this driven battle between good and evil to save Odela from distribution. What works the positive? Tamannaah's transformation. The budget. The biggest highlights of the film is Tamannaah Bhatia stripping away from her usually glamorous role. Her look and intense screen presence as a Naga Sindhu are highly commendable. The first half of the movie starts on a promising note. It successfully builds an atmosphere of dread and mystery during the first hour, keeping you curious about where the story is headed. Climax and BGM. B. Ajneesh Lokhand background scores elevate several senses. The music during the grand climax pairs with high energy staggering provides some film best moments. What's the fail negatives? Weak horror and thrill factors. Despite being marked as a hardcore supernatural thrills, the movie struggles to geniusly scare to thrill the audience. The horror element relies heavily on gore, like served heads, rather than physiological tensions or effective jump scares. Superb VFX for a film that heavily relies on divine interventions and supernatural phenomena. The visual effects VFX feels dated and poorly executed, often breaking the emission. Daggered second half at nearly 2.5 hours, the film feels overly long. The screenplay loses its grips in the second half, representing props and sketching the narrative to points where it becomes tedious. क्विक ओवरफ्लो करके बात करें, एक्सपेक्ट करें डिटेल्स की. स्टार कास्ट है तमन्ना भाटिया, हेवे पेटल्स, विश्वनाथन एंड सिम्हा, अशोक तेजा डायरेक्टर, सुपर नेचुरल हॉरर थ्रिल जनरा, इतना रूटीन अमेजिंग फ्रेम. सो हेयर द मूवी एक्सप्लेनेशन शुड वी स्टार्ट. तो अगर फर्स्ट ओडेला 3 के लिए स्टार्ट. द टाइटल है द ओडेला क्लाइमेस्टिक यूनिवर्सल finance trajectory for a localized micro budget turns crime thrillers to an expensive supplemental dark fantasy franchise. Strategy scopes are deep driven explorations of creative shifts, production parameters and commercial performance and tactic potential, and analysis case study mapping out the future narrative mechanics of theoretic third instrumental. Speaker note: good morning and welcome to this masterclass case study. Today we are discussing a highly unusual phenomenon in Indian climax. The Odela. Just give me a 2 minutes. The phenomena is release and climax. The Odela classical universe. We will track how an undergoing direction to digital to cinema film fundamentally evolved into the massive multi VFX having supplementary technology. The presentation will design the creative risk, the business pivots, and builds out the formal product development blueprints for the third chapters. Let's begin the mapping of the fundamental vision. Second slide, explain summary slide heading architectural pivot and region despite bullet points structural adaptation demonstrating a blood creative choice to cross genre cleanly between consecutive intellectual while the preventing continuity ritual specificity capacity size having on hyper local Telangana geography Polgo dialect and traditional to guarantee distinct market positions. Gender classification sublimation something shifting traditional commercial focal points away from alpha male heroes towards deeply layered, physically damaging female protectors. Speak notes our core disease build centers on structural adaptability. Most film finance duplicate their initial success. Odela completely shifted its gender mechanism. It proves that deep religious roots pairs with powerful female leads can break up traditional male dominant commercial cinema. We will evaluate how this calculated creative shift works. Our third slide should be started. Tables continent slide fielding master presentation mapping building points phase 1 foundation module 1 overview and finance architecture slide 1 to 10 होते हैं films analysis module 3 film commercial scale setup phase third the features module 4 script blueprints and modules technology production economics. Speaker note to manage the massive 60 slides architecture. Similarly, we have organized our into 4 content clear phases 6 decent module. We have provided strategy and underlining and close the technology and female. The visionary behind lens Sampath Nandini. Creative architectures and writing physiology. The showrunners, creative writing and production by the commercial blockbuster direction. Sampath Nadhi. Strategic pivot are debating moves away from glossary urban action script towards gritty raw earth tones rural narratives world building logistic legends and interlocking universe where the historical scenes of humans begin in invite supernatural comedic backlash. Every successful climatic franchise requires an architect for Odela, that is creative writing. Nandini, traditionally famous for highly grown big budget mass blockbuster, Nandini made a calculated architecture choice. Here he recognized that the features of storytelling lays the hyper-local architect buildings on organizing timelines where humans deeply naturally invites cosmic punishments. Here we our go for fifth slides. So our fifth slide starting. This is not an official news channel. This is a movie review channel. So please like subscribe the channel. Directional exclusive Ashok Teja slide heading creating atmospheric isolated and spiritual depth. Visualizing the director by Ashok Teja who focused on unpolarized environmental raw styling and highly tension pacing. Lighting and composition heavily relies on unsoftware decaying handheld cameras and tightly framings to cause claustrophobia. Journey mystery effective guidelines the productions for a grounded investigation thrill into an epic highly frequently regional horror canvas. Speaking note while Nandini bolts the narrative structures, the director Ashok Teja brought the gritty visuals reality Teja expected avoiding glossy smooth studio setup. He used handled cameras and harsh daylight to make the setting feels uncomfortably feel. This approach turns the environmental into an active threat, trapping an audience inside the village limits along with the characters. Core climatic themes. Slide 6 की बात करें तो core climatic theme है the thrill peddlers of narrative communities. Cosmetic retribution exploring how institutional humans legal systems fail, forcing a high-driven order to strike back. Ruler defenselessness using isolated setting for away from urban models infrastructures to amplify feelings of in, inescapa- in, inescapable driven famines, surviving, subverting classic tropes by placing the physical, physiological, and spiritual shields of village entirely into women's. The entirely universal rest of three constant cyclic pillars. First, Raven's distribution, the concept that when humans fails are yet specifying cosmic orders takes over second ruler isolation which strips away the safety net of modern infrastructures, and the third driven framing placing the physical defense of a community entirely on the female shoulders. Here our sixth slide should be completed. We are going for the seventh slides. Our seventh slide's topic is setting the stage village of Odela. Sliding adults, geographically and active narrative characters, real world encouraged to paint in real village of Odela in the allegedly districts of Tamannaah, Telangana, India. Spiritual codes centered heavily around the historic Odela Melakunja Savame temples as a requiring cloud nets, atmospheric identity, and exclusive event bounded by ancient traditional unspoken taboos and systematic patriarchal bias. The location is not perceived backdrops, it is an active character. Odela is a real digestion in Telangana by grounding some fractional horror story in actually scared located known for the Mali Karunja Malikarjuna Swami temples, the franchise intentionally gain deeply cultures, family, and physiologically hate its blues the line between modern reality and ancient myth. Audience demographic and market reach, tapping into hyper-local and pan segments. Primary, primary segments support religion audience in Telugu states attractive to authentic rural Telangana segment and culture matchup. Second segments pan-Indian digital viewers seeking unfortunately culturally distinct foreign thrills over formulated metropolitan script cross genre General appeal successful, bright, old school, primitive mucilage with a modern, younger, true cinema fans. Speaker notes the data shows a highly valuable to try its audience domestic. The primary engines is the course region viewers who respect the unpolished local distance. The secondary engines is global streaming looking for distinct follow over the generic westernized copycats. The bridge allows the IP to the tap into multiple financial revenue streaming simultaneously. Here our 8 slides should be completed. We are going for the 9th slide. Box office streaming evolutions, analysis of business model transitions, parametric directly on religion streaming, Alha bypass financial critical risk post-pandemic film to scale distribution upgrade to multi-lineal high budget theatrical release across multiple major religion Indian markets. उस ऑर्डर को पहले कैंसिल कर The visual risk utilizing immigrant digital tracks to justify an increased capital investment for theatrical visual structures. Speaker note the economic distribution model of this finance is highly education film. One bypass theatrical risk entirely dropping flat to digital streaming during the massive home composition waves. This builds an insects low cost curves following. पहले कैंसिल कर फिर बोल. The studio then leverage that's a high digital equality to justice a capital having theoretical upgrades of the sequels. Slide 10 modules 1 key takeaway slides headlights static frameworks for the Odela intellectual property, the hyperlocal months, deep religions, identity, creatives and entry barriers, the generic mainstream commercial productions cannot easily match control risk scaling budgets of cards only after conferring high audience engagement and data traction on streaming platforms. Interlocking blueprint structures a flexible multi-genre intellectual property designed for continuous adaptation across diverse entertainment markets. To conclude, concludes our opening modules. The core takeovers is the hyper-local identity creates a powerful business modes. Audience are tries of a polished generic products, chain, cultural specifics, and scaling the budgets upwards only only after proofs of concept. The Odela Trunks team built a highly flexible framework that we will analyze further to the next section. Here we go for the our module seconds. The modules of Odela Railway Station 2022 Deep Dive Slide 11 to Film 1 Introduction Slide Heading Launching a Sleeper Digital Thrill Hits the primers dropping in August 2022 as an exclusive original completely defining low-budget thrill pacing the hook a newly posted idealistic police office is throw thrown into a ruler web brutal inspection local cinema production strains a learn gritty unglamorous narrative. Speak note, let's deep dive into where it all started. Odela railway station released in August 2022. It had no legacy stars, no multi-millionaire dollars and budgets, and zero commissional compensation are related entirely on sharp traffic concept that immediately went viral on religion digital stream alternating accepting for low budget. Plot symptoms diagnosing the true crime wouldn't mechanism. The ruthless, unseen serial killer stalks the village, threatening and murdering newly bridge on their wedding nights. The failures standing rural policy structures prove completely ineffective due to local. The threat ruthless, the claim is traced completely. Solvent stands drops by revealing the least suspect most invisible town figures as a monster. The narrative plots distributions, serial productions. The killer newly rides after their wedding. The look The local police find themselves outmatched. The film moves like a standard producer investigation but completely pulled the rug out from under the audience in the final by the showing that real monsters was events in a plain straight. Here we go our 15th slide. The 15th slide, the narrative passing 92 minutes, learning breakdowns, sliding structure, efficiency and tension management. Aim 1 interception immediately introductions of Tariq Rhymes building absolutely panic across the community line. The production executing slow burns investigation filled with false plates, wrong arrest and rising fractions, the explosions completely collapse of formal legal productions into a gritty competitive fight with purely 15-minute breaks. Take a 15-minute break. Speak notes. The film screenplay is highly efficient, running to run 92 minutes as the established immediately paired with 30 minutes acts to show down deliberately into exhibiting frustrating police production to build tensions. Act 3 completely throw out interested legal structures for a false, violent and highly vascular survival sequence. Slide 16 virtual styles and cinematography, structural tones and gritty structured designs, color tone heavily religions on dusty yellow dyes, earth browns and harshly unsalted nature middle sun. Shaky intimate handheld cameras during chase scenes to preserve a raw domestic true climax feel focusing on vast empty dirty roads, wearing fields and dark railway tracks emphasizes isolation. Visually the film is deliberately unpolished. The camera departments use denatures, dusty yellow tones and raw immediately sunlight to avoid smoothness. Studio camera tracking, choosing handheld rings to create a domestic aesthetic. This choice forces the audience to feel the dust, heat and immediately physical damage on the landscapes. Here we go over for the 17 slides. Our 16 slides should be completed. Social community invest in the crime using green cinema to critical sequence flow. Vitamin blaming outlining how partial village leadership intensely questions the victim's conduct before pushing the criminal's infrastructural blind spots. The unmanned poly-lit rural railway station functions as a visual symbol of instrumental neglect. Suspense has exposing how communities use the driven cross to the avoid checking active accordingly to human crimes. Beneath the thrill element, the script functional as the sharp social critique. It illustrates how Inusla village partitions instructively engaged in victim blaming. The dark, unmade railway station serves as a visual metaphor for infrastructural neglect, show how geographical isolation plus marginalized communities vulnerable to seismic predators. Here we go over 18 slides, critical reception breakdowns, evaluating review metrics and polarized receptions, celebrated for learn facing uncompromising dark tones and help us throughout performance minor criticism regarding thin characterizations of secondary police figures and industrial intense violence that buffers on acceleration industry consequence are I recognize highly effective relational threats that maximize a minimal budget to outshine theoretical competitors. The critical reception was highly polarized, but learning positive reviewing praised the films, refusing to dilute its dark themes for commercial appeals, while some critical felt the secondary characters were slightly underwritten. The consequence was clear. It was highly effective place of generally claiming that punched her above its financial weight. Here we go over 19 slide or 18 slide should be completed. Audience words of Mount and Odela's success highlighting the organic digital growth mechanism zero had advantage lacking expensive legacy prints and television campaign relying entirely on internet variety social amplification audience members clipping high intensely sequence for WhatsApp status, Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts secured a spot in top trending rankings on alpha platform for consequence week post launching without starting multi-millionaire dollar theatrical ads spends. How did this film monetize or organic digital words of mouth views begin clipping intense sense for social media, turning the films into a viral trends on streaming platforms. It's proof that the regional streaming models allow compromised content to build its own audience independency. Here we over 20 slides, over 19 slides should be completed. Legacy sequel setups like the narrative words demanding explosions. The lingering traumas, the individual predators was removed, but the underlying systematic traumas of the village remains unhealed. The spiritual voids, the massive volumes of fear and blood spilled in the village leads a conceptual runway for supernatural escalation. Finance launch pads proving that only the location carried enough intellectual weights to support a multi-film narrative universe. Speak notes as a close model to observe the structure setups. The physical threats was ended, but the physiological traumas of Odela demanding open the script left up voids. The sheer volumes of traitors and violence expensive by the village demands a spiritual resolution, creating the perfect runway to the scale up into a supernatural fantasy. Here we our 21 slide, about 20 slides should be completed. Here the module 3 should be started. Odela to 2025 linguistic evolution, slide 21 to 30 is a film 2 introductions, installation into high budget gratifying tentpole theatricalizing the global cinema 17 April 2025 backed by substantial capital and as a list M is distributed across major national market in Telugu, Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam and Kannada long lines as an Asian dark forces capitalize on past human atrocities and intense spiritual warriors arise to defend the village. The brings of April 2025 on Odela to the studio meets a massive live-air transition from a low-budget streaming project to the high-budget theatrical tentpole releases in 5 languages across India. The film was designed from day one to scale the brand, creating equal intricacy for big screen scales. Here we go over 20 slide over 21 slide should be completed. The gem shifted thriller to a dark fantasy slide heading strategic reason for narrative transformation. The market reality recognizing that realistic true cinema script face box office training limitations in mass theatrical markets, capitalizing on Indians' highly lubricate cinematic trends of blending local realism mythology with horror. Maintaining the attracts some geographical layouts and surviving characters while introducing high stakes cosmic horror. The most fascinating business aspect of Odela 2 is its complete gen transformation. The creator intentionally walked away from true cinema and stepped into dark religious intensity. This was a calculated commercial push to tap into Indians' highly profitable folklore trends, scaling up the commercial killing of the property. Here we go over 23 slides. The 22 slides should be completed. Tamannaah Bhatia transformation, castings and re-engineering the commercial images. The casting pilots deglazing at least stars Tamannaah Bhatia to play a road fashion spiritual protectors adorning the lead characters with saffron robes, metal dresses, heavily Rudraksha brands and holy ashes. Month of strict trainings in ancient material arts speaks forms and Shakti vocal delivery styles to encourage this massive gender shift. The studio cast mainstream star Tamannaah Bhatia completely stripping away the conversational groom's image. Her intense physical presence as a method as Shyamnaga Sindhu warrior gave the sequel the visual authority and mainstream box office gravity it requires to survive in practice. Here we go, 24 slide or 23 slides to be completed. Slide written the mystics of evil and divine defense. Our science sister requires a group attempts to harness to negative energy lingering at an old railway station. Rulers the village is cut off from external model contact by an inescapable malevolent paternal mist. The character Shiva Shakti engage the director physical and magical against enter and to safeguard the temples, venerated plots, quickly and Euclid sects tries to harness to visual darts. इसने पतंग ले रखी है क्या अंकल? पतंग ले रखी है, तोड़ दी. Energy left by the left flames, serial killer. The village is surrounded by a personal mist regarding model technology and policing useless. The setup forces a direct epic conflict between ancient spiritual protections and deep domestic massive. Here we go over 25 slides, over 24 slides should be completed. 26 slides, character profile, Shiva Shakti, the personifications of fires, cosmic feminists, the divine instruments, and Ossetley's warning agophora for functionally as a director effective weapons of Lord Shiva justice completely detached from material desires, unyielding to fears, and single mindedly protects of the innocent thermic value, surviving as a defining answer to the structure's predatory violence than a victimized woman's inflamed Shiva Shakti's returns as a fully realized spiritual force. She has no standards, human attachments, or romance tracks. She exists purely as an instrumental of divine justice. Her character serves as the ultimate thematic counterweight, providing an aggressive defense against the dark force that creates on the vulnerable. Here we over 26 slides, over 25 slides should be completed. The orchestra written slides celebrating death through supernatural resurrection. The original serial killer returns not in human form but as a visual identity fueled by the collective narratives crafted, usually shifted shadow forms, destroying physical proportion and terrifying low frequency audio tracking, proving that human violence leaves an unstitching state that displays and pushed stimulus Clifford's creative choice influenced was bringing back in the original killers as the supernatural demons. This reinforces the court's themes. You can destroy a criminal. Her physical body was the single strikes, but the systematic generation evil created a physiological sickness that requires a deeper conscious clean to full clear out. Here we go, our 27 slides, our 26 slides should be completed. Visual effects and CGI analysis, technical mirror, marxist and post-production related. Realistic, the CGI footprints over 45% of the critical routines utilized high volume digital effects for smoke, spray and environments. High, high praise for the interactive designs of the shadow entirely and the high energy temples actions climax visible incredible flow in the daytimes green screen works caused by strict uncompromising critical release. They aligned with the shift to dark fantasy games and immense reliance on visual effects over 45 of holiday requires heavily सीजल गांव के लिए चाहिए गांव में करेंगे मम्मी के दूसरे से while the religion VFX designs some daytimes green screen sequence suffers from the blending issues due to the running through strict post-productions critical deadlines management audio. Here we go, our 28 slide, our 27 slide should be completed. Managing audio dynamic to build physical anxiety. The sub-bass engine utilizing specialized low-frequency audio engineering to cause literal physical tension inside skin. Cynical composed by Ajanish Lokhanta fleecing fast turning का form precautions with grand Sakti chats using sudden drops into dead absolute silence to maximize the impact of jump races. The audio design compressed by Ajanish Lokhanta was mentally engineered for a radical sound system. The productions used rhythmic sub-bass frequency to induce physical anxiety in the audience seats, laying broad Tamannaah drumming with intense dramatic chats dropping into absolute silence right before a scarce maximized impact. Here we go over 29 slides. Our 28 slides should be completed. Box office analysis and audience reviewing, dissecting the commercial reality and split word of mouth opening track and secured high initial opening weekend numbers driven by Tamannaah stars powers and aggressive promotion cycles, ground rules. Lions fans felt the highly fantasy shift towards true jogging mass devotional crowds highly praised the spectacles emerged as the modest commercial earners confirming IP viability but showing clear areas needing narrative corrections. Financially, Odela delivers a strong opening weekend due to the star power but posed as a distinct split in word of mouth, ground thrill, enthusiasts found the magical element to sudden while mass actions and devotional crowds celebrated the visual skills. It emerged as the modern earners highlights area needed freshening in the script. Here we over 30 slides or 29 slides should be completed. Deconstructing the post-credit scenes, the structural launch pads of the trilogy contributes the final short that's scarce is holding back the Asian domestic entity is already starting to crop a blood synthesis titles card confirm their immediate continuation. The Ultimate War Awards Odela 3 securing immediately multi-flame audience retention and locking in download and enable first streaming windows to close. Module 3 look the launchpad for the future. The final scenes show that despite the velocities, the seal holding the ancient evil is already beginning to crack. A massive data crash flashes on screen announcing modularity. Looking in the looking in the looking in the looking on the massive chase cards flashes on screen announcing modularity. Looking at the audience acceptance for an Epic conclusion of the territory. Here we go over 31 slides and module 3. Module 4 uh, our complete 30 slides of introduction, Shivatkara designing and defacing dialogue financial, the objective to build a narrative bridge that unties the rope. Human creates of film one with the mythological skill to film currently moving through advanced conceptualizations and scriptable polishing following the 2025 release cycle. A high disciplined rapid 120 minutes theatrical structures build maximum narrative moments. Now let's look forward. Odela 3 is continuing development. The global of the final installments is clear. It much brings absolute closer to the universe by seamless blending the human spirits on the first film with the mythological skills of the second. Let's analyze the static blueprints of the film. Finance, here we go. 30 slides, our 31 slides should be completed. Code narrative pillars structures the thematic resolutions. Absolute cinema permanently breaking the generational cycles of fear, crimes, and supernatural forces playing Odela, knowing the dangers vectors outside the village lines and the show how local cooperation threatened surrounding districts, reiterating the choice and physical actions to the ordinary villagers, the ultimate key to salvation. The third film released three specific narrative pillars. First, it must provide a definitive end to the village cure. Second, it needs to escalate to the third belongs the village borders to increase the snakes, and the third, it must return to the human eliminates showing that human choice matters just as much as human inventions. Here we go, our 33 slides, our 33 slides should be completed. Device and cosmic horror elevates elevating the stake beyond the standard tops. Blending cosmic radiation, fall horror with the Lovecraftian cosmic horror aesthetic, transforming the antagonist from an angry local ghost into an ancient primitive entirely feeding on the countries of human malice, utilizing destroying architecture, shifting spatial dimension, and intense blood red sky design. The creative comes is looking to evolve the horror element into a cosmic horror. The antagonist should not just be a simple angry ghost. It needs to be an ancient Lovecraftian entry that feeds on generations of human malice. Visually, it means introducing surreal dreamscapes and apocalyptic images over the familiar Blair landscape. Here we cover 34 slides. Our 30th slide should be completed, humanizing the divine protector. The vulnerability factors Shiva Shakti to confirm the painful memories of her three ancestors. Part to unlock her ultimate power, designing elaborate, highly intense materials arts. Stunt sequence utilizing complex traditional India combat equipment, exploring the heavily physiological toll and absolute isolated the comes with begin begin and choose weapons of cosmic justice for the Tamannaah characters. Odela 3 must introduce personal strikes to make her journey completely. She cannot remain an untouchable god. She must face her own past and spiritual vulnerabilities. This arc will be supported by highly demanding complex material arts, choreography utilizing multiple traditional Indian weapons. Here we go, our 35 slide. Here our 34th slide should be completing resolving the original loads, the historical flashbacks as a structural anchor. The divine allocating a highly stylized 20 minutes historical segment sets a century before the events of the first film, outlining the exact structural betrayal or crime committed by original village elders that brought the curious making showed every unexplained phenomena across all three moves is directly answered by the historical date events. Major portions of the script must be historical flashbacks at century before the first films. We need to see the extract scene committed by the village ancestor that created the land in the first place. This providing structure local aaegi events event across all three movies back to one origin. Here we over 36 slides. Here 35 slides should be completely scripted, tone and balancing act. Extracting our tonal corrections of diverse audience bases internationally dividing the movie into distinct tonal chapters to satisfy both true crime and dark fantasy fans. Chapter 1 Great Bringing Back Bringing back the muddy, unpolished human fear, police trackings, and highly intense remains of Langman shameless, escalating into a grand visual effects, spiritual layers, and mythological aspects of Lang too. Rona balance is where Odela 3 will be win or lost. The strategy is the deliberate corrections stars the flames with the muddy rot terrifying humans perspectives of Limon and then gradually escalated into the grand clear epic fantasy style of Flame 2 or the final act satisfying both segments of the audience. Here we go over 37 slides. Our 37 slides should be completed. New character archetypes injecting fresh narrative friction points the reason skeptic the highly analytic for sick specialist from the city who arrives to logically dumped paranormal claims. The lore keepers and elderly tribal storyteller who holds the forgotten spokes history, retailing the entire exhaustive physical weakness, the greedy local official attempting to demolish the Asian temple grounds in a endeavor thinly breaking the final protection seals to balance the story. We suggest three new archetypes: a highly ranking modern forensic scientist who arrives trying to logical debunk the supernatural occurrence, an old tribal elder who holds the forgotten key to entry, weakness, and a corporate land developer who acts as a grounded human antagonist takes the cases. Here we go, 38 slide or 37 slides should be completed. Pacing strategy 120 minutes. Historical breakdowns, historical screenplay, architectures, made 0 to 30 re-established decade rapid reintroduction to the tense village atmospheric and unexpected cosmic events shattered the quiet mid-30 to 90 dual tracking the modern forensic investigation runs parallel to Shiva Shakti, tracking down the original history. Minute 90 to 120, the ultimate sees the continuous highly octane visual and physical battle inside the temples to permanently clear the land. We strongly recommend a tight, non-bloated 120 minutes between acts. The first 30 minutes should re-establish the thread. Act 2 spreads an hour divining into the deep investigations and the historical flashbacks. Acts 3 as a continuous, highly octane 30 minutes battles that leaves no room for audience breathe. Here we go. Our 39 slides, our 38 slides should be completed. 39 slides classroom. Climax consequation, the final seals designing a highly impact structural resolution struggle deep inside the inner temple sensicutum during a rare complete astronomical solar space blending complex physical fireworks stunts and real fast effects with clean digital environmental engagement requiring a raw footage choice Scraps from the village, making the victory of a human achievement rather than an easy magic fix. Here we go. Our 40 slides fifth module. Here our two modules are left, fifth module and sixth module. Then we go for our completed schedule. Technically, marketing and financial analysis, count, finance, pension strategy. The finance frame shifting from the dark history Hunting looks the past flames to the bright greens, peaceful sunrises over Odela village, the legacy notes leaving an empowering message about a collective community starting up against oppressive corruptions and evils, closing the book on this specific storyline, entirely ensuring a clean, respected trilogy without unnecessary post sequence speaking scripted to close out our narrative modules. Let's look at the entire strategy for Odela 3. The final frames must over a sharp visual constructs to everything that came before shifting from dark claustrophobic frames to the bright peaceful sunrise over a healed village. We recommended closing this book completely. Studio executives are often tempers please the cheap sequels hoax, but preserving the artistic integrity of clean trilogy yield for greatest long-term library value of streaming platforms. Let a brief moments of absolute silence pass after this slides to show that the architect really deployed the reach its logical. Here we go, our 243 41 slides offer our acceleration production design authenticity versus stage on landing shooting for patronizing real houses, direct steals, and historical temples in rural Telangana to preserve to entropy immense atmosphere utilizing high-tech sound stage in Hyderabad for complex night and supernatural sequence that requires controlled lighting and fireworks, ensuring all props, customers, and vehicles look agreed, weathered, and lived in to keep the audience grounded. Speak script moving into module 3. Let's analysis technical production execution for Odela 3. The production's design must balance two words to keep the film feelings grounded. The team prioritize real location shootings in Telangana for the steels and houses. However, for complex night actions and wire stunts, they bolt extract replacing on digital surroundings in Hyderabad and maintenance total controls over lighting and actor safety transition into a film business, kinesthetic production, presentation style, use formal control gestures. Here we go, 42 slides, our 41 slides should be completed. Budget, budget allocation strategy, micro budget layouts focusing strictly on actor fees, basic equipment, retails, and real world location. Exponential budgets increase with over 35 describable straight to VFX house, 25% to star casting, and 20% stunt coordination, maximizing resource by using Religion Indian BFX studio and scheduling now highly disciplined pre-visualization phase. Speaker script, look at the financial scaling across the financial film was learned in micro budgets. Operation film 2 and 3 requires exponential increase, allocating 35% straight to BFX house, 25% to stair casting, and 20% to stunt. Pre-visualization is key to preventing budget overdashing by planning short digital months before building physical sets. We protect investor capital from costly delays. Here we go over 43 slides. Our 42 slides should be completed. Promotional and structural marketing releasing intense string character posting on major festive occurrences like Shivaratri to tap into devastating sentiment, focusing heavy promoting assistant sound designing and striking visual transformation rather than reliving plot points, organizing promotions tours across promoting temple towns to build strong connections with regions, family, audiences, big marketing. This finance requires a distinct culture approach by timing trailers and posters drops across major religion festivals like Mahashivratri will take into exciting organic devoting. Furthermore, the promotion temples physically tours prominent temple stones, buildings, a grassroots connection directly with the traditional family audience who they regular break into mortal threats. Highlight the word organic to show how culture's timing shapes marketing cost. Here we got 44 slide of 43 slides should be completed. Global streaming diet visualization.
Astrologies carry high lifetime value of major OTT networks due to their long-term binge-watching potential. Packaging the digital rights of all three films as a single collective bundle to secure primers upfront pricing from global networks, investing heavily in clear international subtitle transition to make secure local Telangana audience carry weight and globally speaker from a business perspective complete a territory increasing the intellectual properties were valuable exponentially. Streaming network clubs completely changes because they drive long-term binge watching metrics and highly subscribed retention. The financial strategy here is to packaging all three films together as a bundle, so commercial premium price tags from global platforms when confidential. This is a highly result points of our productions, and here we go over 45 flights, and our 45 flights should be completed. Music rights and audio monetization are realizing high energy developing songs early. बाहर जाके बात कर, बाहर जाके बात कर, इधर कान पे मत चिल्ला, ठीक है? Early to build organic posts across media deals and video platforms. Background sports chilling standalone. Standalone background scrolls to streaming audio platform, tapping into a growing niche markets of China music fans influence and probably compressing local folks weekends leading a distinct non-limited flowers to the soundtracks. Audio tracks are an incredibly powerful secondary revenue streaming's high energy devastation tracks should hit social media early to driven user generations, contents and reels. Furthermore, hiring authentic folk musician gives the soundtracks a unique acoustic flavor that stands out in streaming apps. Creative and standalone products we can license independently, Tap your fingers on the अन्नोदी एक गिलास गर्म पानी लाना पीने के लिए हाँ Tap your fingers on the direction early to emphasize the rhythm and marketability of sounds. Here we go, 46 slides. Our 45 slides should be completed, retaining audience across genre shifts. The challenging marketing short films of realistic thrillers do not add well a finance where its pivots violently to fantasy, keep the emotions core gradually human stakes, survival and relatable character mission framing the supernatural elements as a natural extensions of village deep rooted physiological trauma. Speaker, how do you stop true crime fans from walking away when you introduce ghosts? The technical solutions is emotional grounding even when supernatural events are happening on screens. The human stock, survival, grief, and the fear must remain completely realistic. The marketing communication must frame the fantasy as the externals of the village traumas. Here we go. Our 47 slides, our 46 slides should be completed. The plan and their equation. थोड़ा गुनगुना hearing sessions, voice actors of Hindi, Tamil and Malayalam dubs to avoid the stiff artificial feels of generic listen transitions, altering mirror minor dialogues reference to ensure mythological concept resonates with non-Telugu audience without losing their core meanings. Flagging a cultured theatrical release in neighboring states while relying on streaming to reach distant international markets. For a planned Indian distribution, generic dubbing will fail. We need a seasoned voice actors who underrating cultural transitions alter mirror. थोड़ा और गरम कर ला चाहिए Random show the mythological concepts resonate in Hindi losing their course, meaning if a script fails to locals, it's asterisks. If it is a transition purely it loses its soul. We must find the sweet spots. Here we go. Our 48 slides or 47 slides should be completed. Intellectual property and ma- merchandising potentials, developing limited non-digital comic series, beginning the backstories of the villains in Shiva Shakti early deletes as a Naga Sidhu partnering with religion broadcast apps to launch scripted horror audio drams set in the surrounding village Odela, creating high quality limiting editing actor figures or postings of Tamannaah Bhatia striking Shiva Shakti awards for dedicated cinema collectors. The Odela brand has significant untapped merchandising potential. We project limited run digital graphic novels mapping the village backstory, scripted horror audio broadcast for release apps, after offering revenue down to the ticket scales. Here we go. 49 slides over 48 slides should be completed. Ordinance slide production challenging and market setbacks. The highly VFX dealing with unexpected post-production delaying and rising cost, while digital assets require complex ending navigation are rapidly moving theatrical markets where audience fluctuate widely between massive blockbuster and tight realistic script. Keeping the core creative teams कूलर में पानी डाल दे कास्ट एंड विजुअल style considered across multiple years of productions. We must be the candidate for market realities. High volume VFX leads to post-production delayed inflammation. Additionally, theatrical crowds are highly volatile right now, swimming unpredictable between voting massive structural and tightly script managing a creative team's own 5 Here requires immense structural disciplines to prevent creative figures, maintain a ground transport expansion, acknowledgement, risk, build trust with an audience. Here we over 55 for 49 slides should be completed, lining on intense scriptable reading and early feedback grounds to eliminate slow pacing before camera rolls. Shifting back to a high ratio of practical stunts, real fires and physical networks over highly CGI to restore the visceral gift. Shooting measures chunks to the flash of the flashbacks and final battles scenes back to massive location routines and crew efficiency script to mitigates these risks for chapter 3. The team must give me to it should be completed corrective study and industry impact side study on the ruler killer trends in Indian cinema. The movement analysis half films like Kannada, Pushpa and Visa Respecta shifted the spotlight from the gritty urban cities to raw, animated rural heartlands. Audience creative, authentic, cultural distinct landscapes that provides a completely different floral for Western's urban stories stand out by international stripping, always commercial dance numbers or lightning commands, tracks maintenance and incomplete dark tones. In our final module, let's look at market content film like a Kanishta Pushpa and Jaspatha proves that audience are excited by glossy westernized urban cities. They clue raw, untrained heartland. Odela stands out in the trade by completely stabilizing commercial comedy tracking, keeping it dark tones, pure, open your stands to address the modern industry landscape, moving slightly over from the podium. The maintenance and nationwide commercial success of modern India climax, exposing local spirit domestics. Here we got 52 slides of 51 slides should be completed. The taps into these stated childhood stories, leisure, bedtime tales, and spiritual beliefs shared across generations. Vlogs always returns to context, imagining native words and rule sets that stands apart from standard predictable Hollywood's horror types. Give me 2 minutes. उंगली रख के रख इस पे ऐसे बोलना मत। And the folklore horror broom traps directly into childhood's oral stones shared across generations. This gives wildly incredible creative freedom because it allows them to build unique localized rule sets that deeply production Western horror tropes. It is an emotional hook with the global horror structure simply cannot replicable speaks with the touch of cultural pride to reflect the theme of the slides. Here we go, our 53 slides, our 52 slides should be completed. The female lead's fantasy destructors moving away from the discreditable long traditional where only male superstar encouraging large scale actions or mythological speculates performance demonstrating that female characters can carry intense physical stunts and commands a strong box office opening on their own merits, encouraging productions to back high budget project constructed on complex on romantic female character arcs, historical large-scale actions, and mythological epics were released for male superstar Odela describes his mold, providing them that well-written physiology, demanding female leads and arcs or can command strong theatrical openings on its own merit. This shifts the industry landscape, opening doors for designing high-budget financing. Here we go, 54 slides, our 53 slides should be completed. The trilogy dilemma. Visca and reports announcing a multi-pari series early can severely backfire if and immediately films faces financial or critical underperformance. A successful trilogy builds immense brand loyalty across generational viewer habitats and highly lucrative long-term streaming licensing deals. Each individual's films must tell a satisfaction standalone story while carefully nudging the largest overarching plot forward. Announcing a territory early is a double-edged sword if an intermediate film underperformance, the brand takes its however, if managed correctly, ensuring each film deserves a satisfying, complete sentence, expensive whilst feeding the large plot. It creates an incredible. You create a multi-generation media assist, use a balance waiting ahead of. Here we go, our 55 slides. Our 54 slides should be religion, culture, global resonance. The global entertainment landscape continues to show that the more specific and local story is, the more unique it feels to international audience. Elements like the Odela railway tracks, local Tamannaah marriage customs and temples rituals act as a fascinating visuals hook for global viewers, painting the specific local dialectic and customers like universal human drives, greed, fear, justice, and protection. Global entertainment trends prove that a hyper localized creation intensely novelty. The specific Telangana marriage customs and temples ritual act as a distinct visual hooks for a global streaming users, while the core theme of the great fear and cosmic justice remains completely universal across the border. Make eye contact across the entire room of the emphasis the global themes. Here we go, 56 slides. Our 55 slides should be completed. Lessons learned from Odela to the breathing The breathing visual transforming of lead actors, the atmospheric sound designs, and the highly energy temple action sequence, the slightly over-cultured second acts, and overreliance on digital smoke effects, and a narrative piece that occasionally felt uneven, streaming the weight. Writing teams returns to practical flaming principles and prioritize suspense over simple jump scares to film 3. Clarity writes the analytical data from film to the visual transformation and sound designs works beautifully. The cultured sounds, acts, and over regions on digital smokes did not the actions plan for film 3 is clear, streamline the writing teams minimize visual stuff and prioritize physiological suspense over basic jump sketches, point directly to the performance review narratives or charts displays on the slide designs. Here we go. Our 57 slides, our 56 slides should be completed. Project productions, timelines, pre-production month 1 to 4 completely, final script, polishes, Roberts, the climax and lockdown, visual effects, pre-visualization, execute a highly organized 75-day shooting schedule split across Pedapalli locations and studio surroundages. Decides 5 months to mediocre sound design, background scoring, color grading, and localized VFX passes the proposed timelines for the final spans 14 months, 4 months of intense pre-productions and pre-visualization, a highly disciplined 75-day shooting schedules over 5 months, and a final 5 months decided dedicated strictly to audio engineers scoring and optimizing VFX, editing passes, tracks. Here we are 58 slides or 57 slides should be completed, concluding the already Odela legacy. The Odela franchise successfully crafts out its own unique space in India cinema by breeding two completely despite genres. It proves further filmmaking with a clear realistic case study and how to scale some micro budget streaming hits into a ambitious theatrical priority. The trilogy stands as a bold treatment to creative experimental presentation showcasing the immense power of deep cultural storytelling. In conclusion, the Odela franchise serves as a prime case study on scaling on IP proofs, independent film markers with a clearly blueprints on how a micro budget streaming hits can systematically transforms into a ambitious, culturally significant theatrical property simply by embracing raw edits. Begin. Here we go. Our last two slides, our all 15 slides should be complete question answer session. How to independent vision projects scales their productions design efficiently without losing their raw and authenticity. Analyzing the last terms we are retained rights when the intellectual property makes a district gender shift between sequence floor opening for detailed inquiries regarding budget distribution, streaming locations, and the critical challenge of modern religion film making. I want to open the floor to all your questions specify. Let's look at how independent television cinema can scale production design without losing its raw authenticity or discussing long-term audience retention metrics across a major gender shift. Thank you. Here we go. Our last 60 slides. Thank you for engineering with this executive Francis Blueprints Production Office Creative Development Division, uh, Hyderabad, Telangana. Full script breakdown, high resolution visual concept sheets, and financial modeling documenting available upon official request. Thank you of your time and engaging today. The full script breakdown, high resolutions, pre-visualizing sheets, and financial moderating documents are available upon request through our office. Have you window them? Here our all movie explanation should be complete. Please like,